Welcome to Lyfeproof, a place where we give young people a platform to voice their opinions. And we're back with another podcast. I'm your host, Sammy. And today I've got Ikra on, who's co-hosting for the first time, stepping up. And we've got two guests on. We've got Abrahet, also known as Abby, and we've got Estelle. So Ikra, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Go.
Yeah, I'm Ikra. I'm the new host today, co-hosting with Sammy. And this week we're discussing expectations of men and women in society. We're joined with Abby and Estelle. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves? Just tell us a bit about what you do.
Cool. I'm Abby, or Abrahet. I'm a third year student at the University of Leeds. I study Arabic and theatre and performance. And I'm very into the arts, theatre obviously, and languages. Love traveling, I love writing, reading, and yeah.
I'm Estelle. Sorry. Hi, I'm Estelle. I'm also a third year student at the University of Leeds. I study English literature and sociology. In my spare time, I also write a blog called Candid Talks, which kind of covers similar issues to what we will be talking about today. So social issues, political issues. Like Abby, I also enjoy traveling, writing, reading, and I'm also interested in cultures, societies, languages, and just the world in general. And I'd like to go into journalism.
Journalism sounds cool. Decent.
Yeah.
And Ikra, let's hear a bit about you. This is your first time on. Let's hear a little bit about you.
I don't know. I'm studying health and social care because I don't know what I want to go into. Probably into something doing nursing or whatever. But I just think that Lyfeproof is a good platform to discuss your opinions and talk about social issues or other issues that just are important. You have your way to just speak and voice your opinions really well.
I know, I think she didn't mention, we're the same age. She's 16 as well, man. We're young. But I'm not longer the youngest, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, literally.
I'm going to kick it off. I'm going to kick off the podcast. What is the definition of equality? Because people get mixed up with equity. And Estelle, I'd like you to take this one.
What is the definition of equality?
Because I'm slightly confused myself. I'm not going to lie to you.
The thing, yeah, I agree with you. And people do get confused with equity. I feel like whenever women, feminists in particularly talk about wanting equality, the response we often get from a lot of men is, okay, well, that means, we don't hold open doors for you. It means that if you punch me in the face, I get to punch you in the face.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Is the response, and I feel like the problem with that is we think that equality is equity, so we think that it means sameness, when technically that's not what equality really is. Equality means equality of opportunity. It doesn't necessarily mean that whatever men do, women can do, because...
So are you saying equality is more of a gender thing between male and female, and whereas equity is just people in general?
No, I'm saying that basically the point is, just because women want equality to men, it doesn't necessarily mean that we can do the same things as men, if that makes sense. Well, our bodies are still different and we can do different things. It just means that we want the same opportunities to thrive as men.
Do you think that there's a lot of double standards in society and genders today? Okay, do you know how you said the whole punch? So if we hit you, if we can hit you, that means you can hit us. But then it's the whole, you won't hold the door open for me, but we want equality? We want equality, but do you think we still want chivalry as well?
I think that there's nothing wrong with chivalry. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't lower the ego or standards of a man, and it doesn't.
Can I butt in quickly? Can I butt in real quick?
Go on.
What does chivalry mean? Because I don't know what it means. So.
I feel in terms of chivalry, I feel girls can also, or women can also act chivalrous, but it's slightly different. Obviously, as Estelle was saying, men and women are different, and we can't hide away from that fact. We can't expect people to just ignore that. But I don't think that chivalry is, put it this way, if people didn't have so much pride and ego, and I'm saying people, not just men, I'm saying everyone, if they didn't have so much pride and ego, I don't think chivalry would be that big of a deal. A man can open the door for a woman can do things for a man. It shouldn't mean that just because of their gender that people should be acting a certain type of way. And obviously there are double standards, but that doesn't apply to everything. So the whole opening the door thing for a woman, I don't think that's a very important point to make. But then, for example, in terms of a workforce or a workplace, if a man is treated as someone who's a more viable candidate for a leadership role, and a woman isn't, like, that's where things become techie. Like, you're actually stopping opportunities, putting them down, and it's not just this one instance. Like, in this scenario, these things have a knock-on effect in terms of like society and self-esteem and all of that stuff. I only think it matters when it really affects people's life. Other than that,
I think it you know what, you're talking about the male like leadership roles is mainly male predominant. I think that's actually quite a sad thing to think about. I mean, there's some bossy women out there that would do a great job at the top of the tree, you know what I mean? And we had Belinda on last time. I don't know if you guys have watched it, but she talked about she's gone, and because she's a woman, as a an entrepreneur, she was like had her own business. Men would try and overcharge her because they thought she wasn't all there, because they're, oh, it's a woman, she ain't gonna understand. What's it like being a woman in business? Have any of you delved into your own business ideas before?
No, never really.
Never. Is that something you'd consider, or something that you might shy away from because of the current climate of men being like, why would you want women at the top? Why am I going to trust a woman like owner, a woman sole trader? Why would I do that?
No, but I think that men and women have different expectations in society, and I think that's really like affected towards gender. So like girls, women, we're meant to be seen as like nurturing and like caring and everything, but like if we start acting bold, men kind of feel maybe a bit threatened, the fact that we're actually sharing our views and stuff.
Definitely.
So yeah,
and that whole bossiness thing, it really comes into play. Like, if you have a female boss and she's obviously bossing around, I feel like the reaction to that, to her bossing around in like contrast to a male boss, is very clear to see, even from women themselves. Like, but honestly, like, I don't see the business world as something that I'm going to get into, not because of any gender issues, just because of the person that I am. I'm a creative, and I feel like in the creative sphere there's a lot of equality, and they're very aware of these kind of issues. Obviously I'm going to run into things that's unavoidable, but in my line of work I feel like it's a bit different to the business world and having female bosses and all of that stuff.
You know what, I just realized this is going to be a tough one for me to sit here as the only man.
It's good, man, you can legislate it.
I found it interesting that, Sammy, you used the word bossy as well. You were like, oh yeah, like, you know, there'll be loads of bossy, like, there are loads of bossy women who would be good in a position of leadership. And obviously, I'm not like getting at you or anything, but it's interesting that you use the word bossy, because we find that whenever a woman is outspoken or confident or is willing to assert herself and order someone to do something as a leader, often the word that is used is bossy. That is the kind of like, although it's unintentional, that is the kind of attitudes that women receive all the time, especially if they are entrepreneurs and they're running a business. From their employees, it's like, oh, why are you being so bossy? Whereas if it was a man telling you what to do, you just respect the fact that he's doing it for the good of his business, you know?
Yeah, so, he's a firm leader. He's a strong leader, like a leader. He knows what he wants.
No, I get that. Yeah, 100%.
So it's just about unlearning the way in which we've been taught to perceive women, and that's why often whenever women do get to like high positions of power, a lot of the women that manage to make it to that place, they tend to be really cutthroat, because it's like they've had
they're not very likable, I find. Like, they're very like, even people like Margaret Thatcher, like, I know people like, she's obviously done a lot of like mad shit, like it's bad, but like she was such a strong woman and very unlikable that I feel like that was the only way that she could have got to that role. Sorry.
Yeah, but I think they've had to like prove themselves a lot. Like, I think
you get that in men
they've had
as well.
to prove themselves a lot.
Yeah, you have to. You can't afford to be like a nice person. Even men, but like I feel like with women, you kind of have to not be nice a bit more just to assert yourself and not be taken like advantage of. It's just the way things are. Like,
but it's seen as like kind of outcast, almost, like the way that we're meant to be like nice and nurturing and like caring, because if it like it's really looked upon if you don't have children. Like, so if someone asks a woman like, oh, why don't you want kids, they're very like, oh, why don't you want kids, like that your whole job is to be a mother and feed and all that. But like if a like woman doesn't want to have kids, it's really questioned. And I think culture and ethnicity plays a huge role in that. And like, what would you guys have to say about that?
I completely agree with that. I'm actually glad you brought that up, because I think that women who are open about not wanting kids, we often tend to look at them as if they're less, like they're not as good people, or they're not fulfilling their role. Like, how can you not want kids when there are loads of women who don't want kids, but then they're still teachers, they're still around kids, they're still able to have lovely relationships with children or young people. They just don't want kids of their own. Whereas if a man doesn't want that, it's a bit more like, oh, well, you know, whatever. Like, and also women as well, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. I'm glad you brought up culture as well. A lot of cultures, in particularly like Asian, African cultures and Middle Eastern cultures, put a lot of pressure on women to reproduce by a certain age. Like, you're basically before your biological clock runs out or whatever. So like, your parents are asking you, why haven't you found a husband? By the time you're 28, you have kids before you're 30. And there's a lot of pressure, because being a woman, you don't just have to think, oh yeah, career. You have to think career, you have to think kids, you have to think husband. There's just so much you have to think about, and it's just like, you just want to breathe.
Stressful, man. It's hard.
I know.
It's hard.
And I think that culture especially has a huge role to play in the way men and women act. So I think that men, like, they have this very opinionated self, especially to the culture. But I think in women, you have to act a certain way, dress a certain way. In certain cultures, it's very like, not saying that they don't feel comfortable, but they really like some religions, and especially Islam, it gets misinterpreted so much when it comes to dressing certain ways and things like that. Because I remember the whole like wearing a niqab and things, and some people are so happy to wear it, but it's just because the way it's looked down upon, and it's like in the media it's portrayed so differently.
Yeah, like the women who wear like niqabs and hijabs or whatever are oppressed. They haven't got a voice, all of this stuff, like, and like, it's really annoying, because it's like you can't see the person beyond that. Like, that is an aspect of the personality, but they're still an individual just like everybody else is. And it's really annoying how it's presented in the media, like and we were watching, like, well, I was watching a show like the other day, I think it was like Waterloo Road or something, but like, there was a really important, it's been on Instagram and stuff, and there's a really important scene where like the girl was with this white boy, and then she was like, oh, I'm gonna like
Finley,
take off my hijab.
Finley, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I'm gonna take off my hijab, and just because like I love you so much, and like this is a really important thing. But it was kind of like, oh, like the Asian or the Middle Eastern girls being liberated by the white man, and all of these things that are like being thrown aside, and it's not important anymore because she's with a white man now, and it's all like wow, it's it was so funny. But like,
yeah, but you know, I don't like, when I see women wearing in the niqab, obviously some are repressed, but not by them. So it's obviously by the family that like, oh, you should wear this, gotta dress modestly. But I've spoken to a lot of people that wear them, and they're like, we'll never change. Yeah. It is a choice. Not all are oppressed or been told to wear this. Like, some of them do it by choice. They're like, all right, cool, I feel comfortable in this. Because a lot of girls don't feel comfortable walking out, bro. Do you know how many weird dons there are out in the world that will stare at you every single body part you have, man? Yeah, so you know how they are in it. So obviously some women want to dress appropriately, and like, I don't want to show my body. So
yeah.
But Sammy being the being the only male, what else would you have to say about like culture and ethnicity playing a role in gender equality?
Well, yeah, obviously it's a massive thing as well. Being a man, being like a Muslim, obviously my family are like, all right, mate, this same thing as you. When are you gonna get a wife? When are you gonna have kids? Because it's like seen as completing half your deen. If you get a wife, marrying, that's what they look for. Like, I've got family members now that are getting quite old, and like their family's like, where's the wife? You should be having kids now. But at the same time, I'm thinking they've got time. Like, there's always time to find out. You know, you see people get married at like 50 years old now. It's never too late. So yes, men feel that
pressure,
that restrictive.
I think they also see the pressure to be like the breadwinner of the family,
yeah,
especially
there's
in
a lot
certain
of pressure
cultures.
on men to be the breadwinner, and obviously it's not easy being a man. I think I have a massive story to tell with that, but you know, I'll let it come in a bit. And yeah, like, I see that 100%. Obviously my dad passed away, but it's always been my mum that's been the breadwinner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My mum's always been the breadwinner. You know, big mum standing up and being a breadwinner. That's what we like to see. I love seeing women like being breadwinners, because it's like society's painting this picture of, oh, the man has to be the one out grafting while the mother's at home taking care of the kids. But when I see a mother out grafting and taking care of a kid, my respect levels are up here, because I can't rate them high enough.
It's so common as well. Most of my friends, like, they come from single mother backgrounds, like a proper matriarch. And when you see how, not effortless, but how, because it's not like they complain or they think that they deserve more than what they get. Like, mothers, well, in my, personally, like my like household, like, my mom just does things, like, she just does it because it's her job, like, and she does it like like without complaints, without grudges, without expecting things back. Like it's just because she knows that that's what she's meant to do. And I feel like if the world portrayed single mothers in that way, we would have a lot more respect for women, because it's so commonplace. Like it's ridiculous how common single mothers are, whether it be the father's left or the father's passed away, or all of these things, like he's in a different country. Like the amount that women can go through and do just off their own backs is ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous.
You know what? I don't think they get enough praise, single mothers, because it's a lot of graft to be a single mother. You know that like a marriage is like, if you have a kid, it's a partnership. You two create that baby. That's a big thing. And when one person gets taken away, it's like, shit, I've got a kid, a house to run, and all these things to do, feed this kid myself and keep them happy. That's a lot of pressure on the mother. So in a single mother, I see her shining with her kid. Like I said, my respect levels are massive, and I think they don't get enough applauded, really, this incredible job people do. Like I see my mum now, she's a breadwinner, she's always going for it. And I'm like, what? I know the heartbreak you've been through, how you still got the energy, and I rate it highly, man.
So do you think that genders are too demanding towards each other?
Yeah.
Or not?
They don't help each other out. They don't help each other out, because they really like make a point that certain genders are meant to do certain things, and because it's so ingrained in the culture and society, like internationally, it's very hard to go out of those constraints, and it puts a burden on everyone. Like for example, men, they can't express their emotions, they can't be open about their mental health, they can't react to things the way that they would want to if they're that kind of person. And then on the other hand, like women, they have to be like the nurturing one, they have to be the kind-hearted one, they can't be too bossy or too controlling or take leadership roles. Like it doesn't help anyone. It's very self-destructive what people have done to themselves.
But you know what, this goes back to more of like the religion / ethnicity thing, right? Like where genders don't treat each other like right, I guess. They don't help each other, especially in the Muslim community. There's a lot of arranged marriage, you know how it is, isn't it? Yeah, there's a lot of it. And it's like a lot of them, if there's a daughter, their father will be like, nah, don't go for him, he hasn't got a good job, go for a doctor.
Yeah,
or something like that. So it's not easy for men as well to like be nice when it comes to shit like that.
No, definitely.
Go on.
I agree with what Abby said. I think that we definitely put a lot of pressure on each other, and like it's just we have such unrealistic expectations of the gender, and I don't know why we put ourselves in this position, like especially nowadays with like a lot of young women, because women are like finding a voice, and you know, we're making our own money and stuff. I feel like a lot of us, particularly with our generation, we've gotten into a place of complacency where now we feel like we can just demand things from men who are also our age. So you see like 21-year-old girls saying like certain lyrics and singing certain rap lyrics, like, you have to buy me a Birkin bag. We were dating a 23-year-old, like, how can he buy you a Birkin bag? Like, where has he got money from? He just
He's got his own thing, like he's got his own life to take care of. Like he's got women in his life and people in his life that he probably needs to take care of before you. And it's so annoying when I see men like treating their girlfriends better than they treat their moms. Like it's like you feel like you have to give them so much just because of these gender rules, and I'm just like, your mom is there, like, and she's not getting like anything from you. She's not even getting groceries. Like, what is this? Like, what kind of man is this?
Nah, you know what it is? I see it with a lot of man them. They'll forget about their mum. It's all about the girl, and then the girl starts acting like their mum.
Yeah,
where's that come from?
Like,
don't piss me off.
Another annoying thing is like, even me and Estelle were talking about this the other day, like especially from people with like African and Asian and Middle Eastern backgrounds. There's this whole babying of men that I think a lot of mothers do, and it really comes across because obviously I'm from Eritrea, I'm East African, and I've got 2 older brothers, and my mum's a single mum, as I said before, and I can really see the difference in the way she treats my brother and the way she treats me. My brothers are older than me, but I'm still expected to like do the second mum role, the taking care of my younger sister, the doing the cooking and cleaning and going shopping and stuff, and all of these things have just been expected of me, even though I have 2 older brothers who are a lot older than me. They have a lot better job than I do. Like they're not expected to do anything that I am. And
so could you say like, I guess you could say like mothers in like, I guess like ethnic minority households are treating their daughters, like training them to be mothers, but not treating their sons to be fathers.
Exactly.
Basically.
You know what I mean?
The boys don't have the pressure put on them. The boys don't have the expectations put on them.
And you know
they
what
need
it
to
is,
be
Ikra?
dads
The
as
pressure
well.
comes after.
No one
The
talks
pressure
about
comes
that.
after when you are sat there with a wife and sat there with kids, and you're like,
Yeah.
shit, what do I do now? The wife's
they're
not
not
for work.
prepared.
How am I meant to clean this youth's nappy?
But
That's my
they
biggest
don't.
stress. I don't want to
But
get
they
married,
don't
man. I don't
try.
want
They
to
don't put in the effort now because their mom's not asking them, "Oh, do this for me, do that for me."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it really,
Sorry,
like, it's very clear to see in university as well. Like, we were talking about the other day about boys in uni, and like, they just can't take care of them. Like, some of them just can't take care of themselves. Like, they literally can't do anything for themselves. Let's put aside cooking, just cleaning, buying things that they don't know what they need to buy for their houses. Like, they have no idea what they're going into because they've never been trained. And it's just really like, oh, it's so frustrating. Like,
And also there's this like whole concept of like the uni wife, and we've normalized this whole thing of like women basically adopting the position of mothers whilst they're at uni, like particularly in first year, because a lot of guys were still adapting to like the change of being alone. So a lot of girls would be volunteering, like a lot of their female friends would be volunteering to cook jollof rice for the whole flat, and it's just like, obviously it's a good thing to do, like it's a good thing to do things like that for people you love. Like obviously if you love someone, you want to care for them and cook for them, but at the same time, like it's a bit much. Like a lot of guys have probably gone their whole uni career, the whole 3 years, only having cooked themselves like 5 times because they've got like 5 female friends who are willing to cook for them like 6 out of 7
and it'll be Indomie, just noodles.
And literally when they do cook for themselves, it's something really basic. So it's just like, I like the fact that, you know, women of color are raising their daughters to be productive, and I like the fact that my mum also raised me to be productive. But at the same time, I would just wish that she did the same with my brother, and I wish that all boys get that same kind of treatment, because it's not just about, oh yeah, you're a woman, so you should know how to run a household. Everyone should know how to run a household. Every human being should know how to be able to live by themselves.
I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, Abby. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna cut in for a quick second. I think I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I'm victim of being baby by my mother. Obviously, I haven't got a father now, so my mum's kind of raised me to be my own individual man now. So I've adopted the role of taking care of my mum. My mum's getting old. She's told me, son, I need help around the house now. So now I'm only slowly getting to it. Because I think now I've got a bit of a head start. Look at my mates. I'm like, right, you lot still do that. But I was doing the same shit as them 2 months ago. It's only now that I've seen my mum struggling. She's like, please, can you help me out here? I'm like, all right, cool. So I started doing shit around the house now. It's only now. So how important do you think it is that mothers raise their sons to be fathers?
It's so important.
Because you see the thing in movies. You see the thing in movies when the wife dips and there's a kid and you're like, he's calling like, how do I stop the baby crying?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And I'm low-key scared of that, but hopefully all's well. So how important do you think it is? Go on, Abby.
I'm coming to like my personal life and stuff, and I've had this conversation with my mom about why she treats her sons differently to the way she treats me, and how she treated when my dad was back in the house, how she treated him as well. And it's this idea in her head, that men are useless anyway, that men can't do things anyway, like they are not equipped for doing productive things anyway. And and that idea is in her head before she starts treating them. So then she acts like they can't do these things, and then she doesn't force them to do these things, and then they don't do these things, and that means that they can't do these things, and it's just a continuous cycle. And I think it's so important, like everything connects to like one another. Like you see these young boys, like teenagers, having babies and stuff and not being a good enough father. Fair enough, they're quite young, but they haven't got the instinct in them to provide for the child that they have caught, like they've done, like they made it, like, and they haven't got the responsibility ingrained in them, and it continues on, and then that child hasn't got a father and it's been raised by their mum only, and it just continues, like, and I don't think it will ever stop unless parents decide to make decent, productive, responsible human beings. Like that's what it all just comes down to. Everything really comes down to parenting anyway, but this is really important to really show how people need to act when they're like an adult.
Definitely.
So do you think women and men's roles are changing like recently, or do you think they're developing, or do you think they're still staying the same because of the whole generation by raising?
I guess it depends on the person at the end of the day. Like myself, now picking up the things my mum's teaching me to do, I can see myself not being that useless father that does nothing around the house, that is a bit stupid. I understand the responsibilities now. So I think it varies between people.
And also,
I don't think all men are useless. I just think the effort they put in. I don't think they're useless. Just if they put in more effort, if they learned from the start, then they wouldn't be in the situation that they were in.
Yeah.
They're not useless. They're people, just like we're people. Like, they were born the same way women were. They just have a certain type of lifestyle that comes with their gender, and then they end up being this type of way. But everyone has the potential to be a responsible human being. It's just about the society.
Definitely. Because
do you guys notice what I'm noticing, by the way?
Pardon?
Do you guys notice what I'm noticing right now?
I'm noticing.
So imagine they have a son, a newborn son. They don't train him to be a father. They don't give him the responsibilities like they give to their daughter. And then he becomes a father. What's he meant to do with the son? How's he meant to train him to be a potential man, a father?
Bad dads raising bad sons who become.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
It all starts with training.
To be honest.
Yeah, like Ikra said, it's not like men are just inherently more useless at household chores and just better at working. Like very few things in this life are innate. Very few things we are born with. Most of the things that we learn is through socialization and how we're raised. Like, I'm pretty sure that once upon a time, I didn't like doing household things. Like, when I was young, my mum really had to try because it wasn't in me. It's not in me to do things, but she tried, and now it is, kind of thing. So it's like, it's the same thing with a lot of guys. Like, if they were raised, if that was forced upon them, they would just be naturally more domesticated. Because it wasn't forced upon them, they're not. And also, I think I think you asked, is it that roles are changing and things like that? I think it just depends on the culture, because I think definitely in like the white Western world and like in a lot of white households, I think the roles are definitely like, I think a lot of parents in white households don't really put a lot of responsibilities on their children, full stop. So neither
I think it's the whole traditional ways that our parents are putting upon us, especially in certain cultures. It's the tradition that they still have that mentality of then.
Yeah.
So you say, like, you see the
right, basically.
Sorry, my bad.
Sorry.
So you see the thing of like the Western world, like white, like houses kind of quite like leaning on their kids. They're not too strict. They're like, they might have chores set out for them. They set it out nicely on a nice board on the fridge.
Yeah.
They have things to do. Whereas Asians, you're like, or like, I don't know, like ethnic minority households, it's like you're expected to do it. And instead of being in the white family, it's like, oh, if you don't do this, you don't get your pocket money. In like my house, like, if you don't do this, do you want the back end or the front of it?
Literally,
it's one of them ones.
It's not an option. It's not an option in like households of color. It's not an option. Like, and that's the thing. I feel like we've got it right in terms of we've enforced that kind of responsibility on our daughters, but we just haven't done it with our sons. But with white households, they've gone the other end by not doing enough. So like, they give their children the choice. Oh, you'll be grounded if you don't take out the bin. You, like, in an African household, you're gonna be grounded. I'll beat you up. Like, there's no two ways about it. Like, you won't be grounded. Like, what does that do to you? Like, so I don't know. There needs to be a balance where like we're teaching both our sons and our daughters to be domesticated, but then also also at the same time not putting too much pressure on just one kind of like one person in the family, the eldest daughter.
But do you know what I was thinking about? I was like, what if there was a privation of the mother? So imagine the mother was never in the picture and the father had to raise a daughter. How would you think that would turn out? Like, I'm trying to think about that, because I'm just like, oh, we can't just stereotype it to be like, oh, like the mother.
There is a stereotype though. Have you not like seen the movies? It's like the daughter becomes a bit of a daddy's girl, but he struggles a lot. You see, I don't know what movie it was. There's one sticking in my head right now. I don't know the name. Whereas the father's taking care of this daughter, but he's trying to find a woman to support. He needs a woman to rely on, a woman to take care of his daughter as well.
So are you trying to say that a man will always need a woman?
Maybe so. I think genuinely I'm gonna have to. She's disagreeing with me. I see that.
and that's the issue. I think that's what we've been taught to think, that like you always need a woman running the household, and you don't. If you have a man who's domesticated, why would you need a woman? Like, what purpose? What difference is it? It doesn't really matter who it is. Even like with like, this is a bit off topic, but like if you see like with like gay households, for example, you've got two men who are raising kids nowadays and they're doing just fine. They don't need a woman. Like, one of them have just understood, okay, I might stay at home more to do more things around the house. One person goes out to work. I think it's just about finding a kind of thing. You don't necessarily need a woman.
It comes to the father's commitment and how much they want you. I think if you see young fathers now, maybe in the teenagers, don't do certain things because it's seen as being wet, bro, that's your kid. That's you have to wipe his ass, fam. You ain't gonna get a choice. You put yourself in that situation. Be the man, be the father now. You gotta raise that child. That's your responsibility. Don't be like, oh no, I'm not gonna spend time. I let the wife take care of it. What if the wife's not there one day? Do you think my mom expected to lose my dad? It was a random heart attack.
Yeah,
imagine I was a young kid and it was the opposite.
Yeah, there's a lot of double standards, especially.
It's really I personally don't know any. I don't think I know any single dad households, like, in terms of people I know, but like I'm very well aware that men are very capable of doing these things by themselves, the same way women are. And so many single mothers, they don't expect to get back out there. They don't try and find a new husband. They just, like, that's their lot, like, that's their life. Like, they've made their peace with it. Like, they don't have a husband, they don't have a father to their kids, but they'll just carry on. And I think that men can do the same, obviously, if they want to find a wife, if they feel lonely or whatever, but they shouldn't feel like they need to, because as a parent, your child is your child, regardless of if you're co-parenting or doing it by yourself. Like, you decided, or this has happened to you, that you have a child, and that's your job. There should never be I need another person.
So do you think men... Sorry,
just a quick thing. I only know one single father household, and it seems as if the dad did well. Like, he cooks and, you know, cleans and everything, and he was a good dad, it seems.
But was that because the independence was forced upon him?
And that's the thing, it was a last resort only because the mum physically couldn't take care of the child. And it's like only like with the single father situation, it's only when the mother, like, is either passed away or, like, she just physically can't take care of the child. But yeah, I think he did it.
I've been in a semi situation where I've had to take control of the house. So my mum's flown back to Pakistan, visit family. It's just me and my brother in the house. Mate, carnage. It comes to the last day before my mum gets back. We both look at the washing up basket. We are sweating, absolutely shitting it. And so we've done the whole load of washing. I look in my room like, there's more to do. And we're so, like, maybe it's just me and my brother, we're procrastinators, man. So lazy, wait till the last minute. I think that's something, like, a lot of men do, in, like, generally, I see within my mates, they're procrastinators. They'll take care of themselves first and then think about everything afterwards.
So do you think men and women will ever be equal? Do you think men and women will ever be equal in society, especially with the younger generation raising their children?
No.
I'm not even talking about our generation. I'm talking about the generations younger than us. Do you think men and women will ever be equal?
No.
I think we're warming to it.
But no, like, I genuinely believe that they will never be equal. I feel like people will progress and things won't be like they are now. Even, like, in like 100 or 200 or 300 years, I still think that there's going to be things there, like, that can never be, like, taken away. Like, for example, like, this is a quite controversial point, but, like, this is something that I think contributes to it. But I really feel like religion plays such an important role in gendered, like, ideals, and religion is so important to certain people and to society in general. Like, so much of society is based off religion, even if it's not a religious society. So I don't think that, like, sexism will be eradicated. I think that we'll come closer to something that's kind of like equality, but I don't think we'll ever achieve proper equality. I don't think that this world is ever gonna take that aspect from it. Like, it will manifest itself in different ways.
You know why I have no belief in this world? Yeah. That's a bit of a deep one still. Like, let's just talk, I don't know, I guess 100 years ago, male or female, let's say the husband and wife, the wife is saying, stay at home, you're not meant to get a job, take care of the kid, be the woman in the house. That still happens now. What makes me, like, have belief that in the next 50 years or 100 years that it's going to change? Like, yes, we see more women in jobs now, more women taking leadership roles, and it's great. I love seeing it. You know what I mean? But what makes me think that it's still happening now?
I just don't think we'll ever be equal. The reason why is because we'll always have biological differences that I feel like men will always use to their advantage. So even if, like Abby said, we become more liberal, and that's the thing, even if the workplace looks equal and that you know, everything's 50-50 split, everything seems equal, I think in terms of day-to-day interactions, how we have to police ourselves around, we haven't even spoken about how it feels, how scary it is to live in the world as a woman. Like, we haven't even touched on that. We've been talking about workplace opportunities and things like that, and how we split, like, household chores. But, like, what about the daily threats of being a woman?
The catcalling.
Walking home and having to around your shoulder. These are things that policies can't fix. Like, no matter how many men we put in prison for doing bad things, there are still men who know I can physically overpower this woman. And
this is why I always lecture. I'm like, please get women into martial arts, some self-defense. Because I said it to Ikra, I said, if a guy comes up to you and tries to like do some shit, mate, if you smack him in his jaw and break it, then he ain't gonna do shit no more.
No, it's so true.
Don't go near that one. She's a nutcase. You know what I mean? So
we need to encourage more boxing. Like, I think this is it's our responsibility as the younger generation to like be making sure our daughters are going to boxing, martial arts.
But
I do boxing, and I see the girls in my class. I'm like, you lot are gonna be protected for life. Your kids are protected. Because if anyone comes near you, I know if I come near you, you're gonna smash my head in, and I train with you. Right. Yeah. So imagine some random guy off the street comes up to you. He has no chance. No chance.
But I think being a woman, you feel intimidated regardless. Just because of your gender, you feel intimidated because random men shine at you. Like, it's just like, well, it's not like a normal thing, is it? It's not like, it's just...
And it's not even like, they probably won't attack you, the men that are shouting at you, but it doesn't stop the feeling that you get of self-consciousness and like insecurity.
And you feel like if you've done something, wrong when it's their fault.
Like, gross, like, oh, I shouldn't have worn this, or like, oh, like, I can't believe that, like, they're looking at me kind of like this. It's really, really bad. It's especially bad in like other countries. Like, I did my year abroad in Morocco, and the catcalling there was, it was ridiculous. It puts the catcallers in this country to shame. Like, honestly, coming back to England, I was like, fam, you think you're catcalling me? You don't know that. Like, you don't know what real catcalling is, bro. Like, this is just polite conversation compared to that. Like, it's mad.
You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna defend the man them here. Yeah, not with the catcalling shit, obviously, but I think, do you know how you guys obviously get catcalling from men and all that shit? They judge how you dress. Men get shit like that too. There's like the thing of like, girls are happily just bait out a guy on Snapchat and say he's clapped 0 out of 10, and it's like, how do you expect the man to feel after that? No, but like, no. But like,
then,
like,
don't you boys all judge women on every little thing they do? The way they dress, the way they look, the way they act, their personalities. You literally just said all women are bossy, or not all women are bossy, but you just literally said categorize women into being bossy. Because why? She's independent and strong and talks about her views.
I didn't say that, but okay.
I feel like whenever women talk about certain things, I feel like there is a tendency for the male in the room to feel like he has to defend, like, oh, like, you know, you guys are right, but, you know, there's a reason, but you know, we go through our things too. And I feel like part of being a man, it's like being a white person in this world. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, when a black person is talking about their racial experience, it's not a time for you to be like, oh, well, look at how we experienced this. It's really a time to sit back and listen, because even though I get it, men do go through your own things. I really get it, trust me. But you will never know how it feels to be a woman. And same way, I will never know how it feels to be a man. But at the end of the day, we still know that in society, being a man will always have more power than being a woman. Do you get what I'm saying? So even when you're saying things like, okay, yeah, we call a guy cats on Snapchat and stuff like that. Okay, that may be wrong, and I'm not like advocating that, but think about the power that, like, the power dynamics already. If a master does something to his servant and the servant does the same thing back, who's really losing? Do you get what I'm saying? That's how it feels to be a man and a woman. A woman can look at you and be like, oh, well, you're ugly. And then you could turn around and be like to a woman, well, you're ugly. The reason why it will hold more weight on the woman is because she's got the whole world already telling her you have to look a certain way as a woman. So if a woman is told, oh, you're ugly, it's like, wow, I'm a woman. I'm supposed to be appealing to men. So that means I'm not fulfilling my job as a woman.
I think this is happening to men as well. How many Asian lads have got perms because they all want to look good for women, because they're like, all these women like, oh, we like guys with curly hair.
Yeah, but the level is not the same. Like, what Estelle's saying is that, like, everybody has their people like doing shit. So, like, everyone has it. Like, black people, white people, Asian people, men, women, like non-binary people. Everyone has shit being done to them, but it will never be on the same level as what women go through. Like, men have this standing point in the whole of society that they can never be brought down to. So whatever's done to a man, obviously as an individual, they go through their own personal stuff and it affects people differently, like it does to any individual.
So this is what I'm trying to say now. So like, look, now listen to this though. So it's like that thing, you like won't ever feel what it's like to be a woman. Cool, I understand that. I know, like, obviously the situations you guys get put in is shit. But then it comes like, look, if I actually have a problem like that, it's like I'm expected to have thick skin there. What if someone doesn't have thick skin? What if someone's so fragile?
That's a valid point.
Fragile that comes to you with a problem.
Gender
and, like,
stereotypes really make that clear. Like, men
that's
can't.
What I'm saying. I know, mate. I had my mate call me. I'm not going to mention his name yesterday, and he cried to me on the phone. Man to man, he cried to me, poured his heart out to me. And do you know why? Another girl told him, "I'm not your personal therapist. You should have thick skin. Do one."
I'm not your personal what? Sorry.
I'm not your personal. This is what the girl said to him. I'm not your personal therapist. Can you go away, please?
No,
it's like, why do we have to like expect it to be like some strong guy that just firms everything? We feel pain like mad. Like I feel mad pain. If a girl calls me ugly, I confirm it. But if she says something about my personality, I'm taking that shit to heart, man. I'm not like I can't just like brush it off sometimes.
No, definitely, and we don't expect you to, and that's the thing. I feel like, yeah, like we don't expect you to at all. Like maybe there are some girls who are childish and think, oh yeah, well if a man cries, I'm gonna get rid of him. But like honestly, the majority of women do not expect men to not like show any feelings. And a lot of the time, a lot of how men feel, like when they feel like, oh I can't cry, I have to be manly and tough. A lot of that is actually in their heads. I'm not saying that it's their fault, but it's in their head because they know what society's like. They think they have to be like this. But you'll find a lot of women will be like, it's okay, you can cry, it's okay.
But then men think they put out a weakness if they cry to us. They think that, oh, she's got the upper hand now because she knows my weaknesses.
That's the thing. That's on them. That's on them.
I think it shows massive strength. But then this is where it comes to another thing. I think, do we, like, men, like for myself especially, I've had to be the rock of my family. Do you think men feel that responsibility just from the get-go, that they just, well, I have to be the rock. I can't really let my emotions out because I don't want the women to think I'm weak.
Definitely,
like men's mental health. Sorry, carry on.
Sorry, you go ahead.
I think men's mental health, especially in culture, ethnicity, or just in general, is looked down upon, especially in gender, like especially in society. The men's mental health is like very looked down upon. It's a serious issue, but it's not taken as seriously as it should be.
No, I'm pretty sure the second most common way of death in men is suicide.
Yeah, it's up there.
And that's even the pressures that we put on ourselves. Some of them, some that are given to us. So like, you know, you get girls that are like, oh yeah, but you feel stressed now, but you're not a girl that has to deal with period and go to school. Like, fam, I have a mad story behind me. Don't get started. Like, I have a reason to be stressed. I'm not just saying it. You know what I mean? Like, I've had that before where girls would be like, yeah, but you don't have to do this. You don't have to go to school on your period. You don't have to deal with, like, men and shit. I'm like, fam, I've lost my fucking dad. I lost my uncle a few years later. I lost my granddad a few years before that. I've dealt with my family crying constantly, dealt with my mom going through depression, my brother going through stress, me going through parts of anxiety, my cousin going through anxiety. But I can't be bothered about that. I have to just film it.
Yeah,
it's long, man. It's not easy as well being a man now, because we're like I said, I've had to be the rock of my family. I went through mad stress. I suffered from stress, but I didn't show it to my family because like, I've got to be the rock. That's my fault. And men ain't accountable of saying it's my fault. Sometimes they like to, when it gets tough, I think not just men and people, it's easy to point the finger, or I didn't say this because of that person, or I didn't show my emotion because I thought I'd be weak. We need to be accountable for that. And I think as a guy, I'm urging men to come out and talk about their emotions, man. Because I think a problem shared is a problem halved. When you get it out there, it's off your chest. Like my mate coming to me yesterday, crying to me. Do you know how hard that was for me? He's a close mate. He's pouring his heart out. And he felt better afterwards just talking to me.
I'm just so glad you said that.
That happens. I don't know how.
I'm really sorry.
Go on.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm really glad that like you're this mature for your age as well, because like it shows that like you've really understood what it means to be a man. And I wish that there were more men who felt like this, because there are guys who even at my age and they're like 5 years older than you still haven't understood the concept of a problem shared is a problem halved. And that's the difference between men and women. Women, we allow each other to vent like and talk about our issues. We know that like life gets tough and we're always there for each other, and we're like, yeah, you know what, cry out, it's okay. Once you speak about it, you'll feel better. But with men, there's this kind of thing of like, oh well, don't speak about it because like you're not tough. Like if you talk about it, I feel like men need to start working on open up your, like, speak to your male friends. Obviously you did it with yourself, but I wish more men let their friends know, look, you can come to me. Because a lot of the guys that I know that have opened up about their mental health, it's usually to a woman because they feel like their friends won't understand or they're going to laugh at them or whatever. And it's sad. I feel like men really need to work on creating that space for yourself.
There's a lot of girl power, but there's not a lot of boy power.
Basically. No, like, my mate called me yesterday. He's crying. To other people, that guy's weak. To me, I'm thinking he's the strongest guy I know because he's come man to man and cried to me. Who else has done that? You think you're a big man because you're on the road and you might stab someone, you're weak because you couldn't use your hands. That guy's come to me and cried. He's come to me and let his emotion out. That's the biggest thing a person, it's the hardest thing a person can do. How many times, I'm pretty sure you lot have done this, I've done it. I've been feeling shit and I've just held it in. I'm too afraid to let it out. That guy's come and done it. He let it out. And I have such an incredible idea for a men's mental health charity. I've got such a sick idea. I need to talk to people about it. But I'm excited, man. And it's horrible. Like I said, the suicide rates for men, I think it's 3 times more likely that a man dies from suicide than women. Because we're scared to come out about our problems, they just go. There's someone I know who he had a management job. He was very high up of a big franchise. Obviously, I don't want to really say it in case, I don't know. But he had a high up job. He had no signs of depression or nothing, and his family found him hanging from the ceiling in his house. He had so much pressure and stress on him, he just didn't let it out to his family. Imagine he had someone like me to talk to where he could have just vented it out. It might have stopped the suicide. My mate yesterday, I'm not saying he's going to commit suicide. Imagine he had no one to talk to that's locked in his head. And you feel that pressure in your chest, that's locked in him. He had no one to talk to at that point. What's his next step? What does he do? He doesn't know what to do. He's panicking. He came to me and talked, and look how much he done for him. I've got a video of him dancing on my phone now. On that FaceTime call because I made him feel better just talking to me. Talking to me. But I'm saying all you have to do is talk. I'm urging, like, lads, let's talk, man. You can come to me, my Snapchat, you know where it is, my Instagram is there. Come talk. Yeah.
If you want to open the charity, I'd love to promote it and like help.
I've got such a mad idea. Such a good idea.
No, do it, man. There's always
I really support that.
Things like these.
Yeah. Ikra, we've got about 10 minutes left. Is there anything you want to finish up on?
No, is there anything else you guys want to address or just continue?
You know what? I would like to end the podcast with something light-hearted. We've gone
we need to end it on a happy notice or something.
Yeah, so Abby, Estelle, you guys are both older than us. 5 years' time, I always ask this. Where do you see yourself? Estelle, kick it off, go
on. 5 years' time, I'll be 25. Okay. In 5 years, I see myself... I know.
That's bad.
It was the realization on Abby's face.
In 5 years' time, I'll be halfway to 30. That is crazy. So yeah, in 5 years' time, I see myself having completed a master's in journalism or like international journalism, and having by that point hopefully have had like at least 2 years of work experience under my belt, preferably in like a magazine company. Something like The Guardian, something that's like liberal, left wing, I can write for them kind of thing. And also doing my own thing on the side, having my own personal magazine on the side, and also producing documentaries with Abby and my other friends, and having a lot of just dipping my toe in every water, and hopefully, being on the way to like really being like a successful person, like someone who's well known in the creative industry and someone who's made documentaries that are like award winning about what it's like to be a minority in England and in other places across the world, about racism, about issues like this, sexism. So yeah, that's where I see myself in 5 years.
That's great, man. Like, there's a lot of ambition. That's what we like to see. Women with ambition, dream big, man.
Have ambition, what do you have in this world?
Exactly, dream big. Abby, go on. 5 years time.
So in 5 years time, I'll be 26, and it's gonna be so upsetting. I hate growing up, guys. Every year that passes, I have like a midlife crisis. Like I just turned 21, and I was so upset.
She didn't want to celebrate her birthday, guys, just because she didn't want to be 21.
No, guys, please appreciate what you have now. Like
appreciate our youth.
Literally, like, I can't believe you guys are 16. Anyway,
I'm so jealous.
I know. You guys are still going into college and that, man. You're so lucky. God damn it.
Listen, I'm 16, but I've got the grey hairs of like an 80-year-old. You can't see right now, but
Yeah, as we hear stressing about our mocks and everything.
Oh, girl, you don't even know what stress is.
Enjoy the stress. Enjoy the stress. Like, I know A-levels aren't easy, but trust me, you I miss A-levels. I miss the support. I miss having people I could see every day. you know.
In uni, you're by yourself. That's it. Like, you're
Why did you guys choose to move out, like, for uni?
Oh, I can't live. Like, I love my mom, bless her, but I couldn't live with her. Like, I had to go off my own back. I'm very like on smash, or like on smash just means like strict household kind of thing. Like, I can't go out. I've got to tell her everything and stuff. So I had to spread my wings. But also, Leeds is a really good university. It was the only university in the country that did my course. So I kind of had to go there. It's very nice. Okay.
Go on, 5 years time. Where you seeing yourself there? I don't think you really answered it.
I don't want to think about it, man. Leave me alone. Okay, cool. So in 5 years' time, obviously, like, I do theatre, so I want to have produced a play. It can be like a really small play, but like just a play that I can have under myself, like just have done. And I want to have produced a documentary as well. I want to have worked in like a professional theatre in London. I've got a couple that I want to go to, so like any one of them would be fine. And I want to just have travelled. Like, I have this map in my room of the world, and like you literally like etch out each country that you go to, and it becomes like, it's black right now, but when you etch out a country, it becomes like a really nice bright colour, and the whole map is pretty much black. So I really want to get some colours going there. Like, I really want to have scratched out a good couple of countries by the time I'm 26. And yeah, like, I'm the kind of person, like, career makes me happy, working makes me happy. Like, it's the thing that makes me happiest at this point in my life. So I want to have done the things that I've set out, you know, complete some of my bucket list and that.
All right, thank you for joining.
No, Ikra, you haven't stopped yet. You need to talk
I
about what you're gonna.
No, I don't have anything that I want to do.
Yes, where do you guys see yourself when you're our age, when you're 20 and 21?
Ikra just said she has nothing.
When you're us.
Nothing. No, I don't know, because I just imagine.
I do.
Go on, future boxer,
okay,
go on.
Cool. 5 years time, I'm 20. No. Yeah, I'm 21 or 22. One of them. Yeah. Obviously, I'll do my boxing. I know you just done peace signs. Nah,
you didn't realise it.
Stop, man. Okay, so I do my boxing. I was aiming for 5 years' time, the Tokyo Olympics.
Oh my God, you do boxing?
No, not Tokyo, Paris Olympics. Yeah.
That's so cool. I love boxing.
Paris Olympics, that's the hope.
Inshallah, it will work out.
Come on. Team GB, that's the aim. And yeah, I'm obviously going for that. I'm not really, like, I'm good at education. I'm shit at being a student. I'm not good at that, man. Like, I'm very like lazy. I don't like it. It just depresses me, man. I hate going in. So obviously, punching's my thing. Punching and talking shit is my thing. That's why I do podcast and boxing. So, you know, that's my aim. Ikra, you sure you've got nothing?
Nothing.
You've got something.
Nah, I don't. I'm very just no.
Oh, and you know what? I'm gonna go for that men's mental health charity 5 years time. Shall we get something going?
Inshallah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Inshallah, you know what, let's go. Sammy, like, I really do see you like being successful, and I really feel like you like, I can imagine you being like a boxer, and like, because you're boxing and like you've gone such a far place in boxing, you have the freedom to be able to open a charity, like the financial freedom, and you have the connections as well. So yeah, like, you can really do it if you do well in boxing, because a lot of sportsmen open charities.
I'm just trying to do the next like Anthony Joshua. Yeah, I love him. My inspiration, Anthony Joshua. So. You know, yeah. But I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for that.
Ikra, Ikra, you're gonna say where you see yourself. Everyone did it.
Wait, how old am I gonna be? So I'm 16, so I'm gonna be 21 as well, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. I haven't thought what I want to do in the future. Like, I change my mind a lot. I'm very indecisive, so I'm not sure yet. But hopefully, I don't know.
What do you see yourself doing at uni?
Yeah, kids. I think no, because everyone says I'm the first to get married and first to have children, so probably. But then I want to take care of myself before, so 21, probably be in uni, hopefully. Studying. I have no clue. Probably something to do in like medicine or whatever.
Anyway,
I'm just gonna see where the wind takes me, and hopefully everything will work out. But I haven't planned my life like Sammy has.
We've all got bright futures here. And I just want to say thank you, Abby and Estelle. You two have been amazing. And I'd love to have you on again. Come with some brilliant points. Give me a bit of a reality check. Made me sweat a little bit, but I appreciate that and I love that. So thank you so much. And I hope we keep in contact with you. I want to say massive well done.
If you want to share your socials, you can do that now.
You have to cut me off. Anyway,
yes,
I just want to say a massive thank you to Ikra.
Oh, yeah.
It's the first time hosting. I think she's done a great job. So, yeah, quick one for Ikra. And hopefully we get to do more of these. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you so much.
Bye.
My ass hurts.
Bye. It was nice talking to you.